I think we have just 10 minutes, so it was a long day, it was a long conference, and it's not that we can see it. The aim of this final session is not to wrap up conclusion or something else, but just to focus a few ideas that for us are the continuity of a discussion that started a couple of years ago here in 2013, when we first met at the Complexity Conference in March, I think, 2013. And we started the discussion to work on heritage, essentially as a complex adaptive system, and to see which could be the cascade of consequences thinking at heritage as a complex adaptive system. As I said, instead of picking up all the talks that we had, just a few notes about key concepts. And what I figured out from this conference here more and more is the need to work on the history of these concepts that are so interesting to us. And we have heritage, I was just noting heritage, tradition, history, memory, nostalgia, past, present, and future, the relationship between space and time, values that change across time and space. These concepts are not liquid or complicated or difficult to study. They just need a very straight scientific approach to their analysis, because we know that as we started to understand, we learned very well from the keynote speaker yesterday, the concept of Siew history in what he called the Chinese tradition, but we need to define what does it mean tradition in China. And is it heritage, is it tradition, is it customs or whatever? And from which region did these things come from? So is it a Confucian tradition? Is it the continuity of a philosophical tradition? And at the end of his talk, he sticked on the Siew history as the records of practical solutions in government based on different principles. And for me, it was the beginning to start a comparison among other regions, other places, other cultures. And that's why I strongly believe that heritage should be approached, among all the other approaches that we have to heritage, as a complex adaptive system, because it gives out the chance to work on cultural history of concepts or Begriffsgeschichte, and to move towards connections with anthropology, with archaeology, with sociology, with many other disciplines that are approaching the heritage studies. And as we were discussing this morning, after the first session, over lunch, we have these three different pillars in collections of data linked to heritage. One is the biological heritage that we have. The other one, which could be the educational, cultural heritage that we have, and the way in which the two interacts. And after that is the perception, the static perception that we have of the stimuli that come from the outsider world, that might be objects or situations or food or whatever that affect our brain via the senses. And these three columns, these three pillars of data that work around heritage, I think demonstrate that we need a complex adaptive system approach to try to find patterns in the evolution of this concept. But if you want to add something more.
Okay, like Andrea, I am only going to give a personal reflection on the proceedings of the 2 days of conference. I've learned a lot. There are many ideas that there are many semi-conclusions that I have personally arrived at through conversations with Andrea. I think I've kind of validated them against the ideas that were described by the speakers in this conference. And I think so Andrea talks about collecting data. As a practitioner of data science, I would like to give this caveat that data does not possess magical qualities. You need to know what you want to use the data for. And I hear two contrasting concepts or ideas being thrown around in this conference, these 2 days of conference, and that is the utility versus the uselessness. So I've heard a lot from the people coming more from the arts saying that art may be useless, but we should still do it. And I would like to say that maybe let's not immediately arrive at this conclusion that art is useless. In fact, we don't have to, the two ideas, utility and doing something for aesthetic reasons, they are not mutually incompatible. So there may be a middle ground that we have neglected to seek all this while. And I would like to also say that, bring it back to Professor Tainter's talk about complexity. So the heritage that we inherited from our forefathers cannot be this complex unless it actually was created to solve some problems. So because it is only through solving problems that created new problems, and then we have to solve it again and again and again, that we get practices like dances, like music, like food, that we eventually ended up to be this complex. So we don't have to believe that it should remain this way forever, but I guess people are not really comfortable with change. I've heard a few talks that points to the correct answer, but let me tell a short story first. When I was doing my PhD, I'm told to cut. I'm just going to wrap up. It's a very short story. Okay, the boss is up there. Okay, this is a very short story. When I was doing my PhD in Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, I was helping out with the Catholic community down there. One day after Mass, the chaplain came to the priest and said, "Father, what should we do with this pail of holy water?" He said, "Just pour it away." Okay, so you just pour it out the window. If I need it again, I'll bless it. I'll just bless a new pail of water. And the chaplain plus all the rest of the volunteers, they were shocked because, Catholics have think of holy water almost as magical, but not the priest. Because I think the difference here is that the lay people like me, we cannot create holy water. Okay, but priests can. Okay, and so therefore, what I'm thinking that must be true is that for heritage, if we are masters of our own heritage, we dare to change it. Okay, if you're merely custodians, then we will not dare to make any changes to it. We want to keep it in exactly the same form that we have received from our parents and our forefathers. So maybe the call that we should be making is for all those who are interested in heritage to become masters of our own heritage, and thereafter we dare to change it. We dare to make the changes necessary to respond to new environments, new problems, and hopefully, if we have a next conference, we will be talking about how this can be done.
Nothing else. I wanted to thank the audience. I wanted to thank, I think we can share the thank you to all of you that stayed here till the very end of this two-day conference, and to the few of you that attended the first Singapore Heritage Science Conference, the second and the third one, and the special edition on maritime heritage as well. So I saw the few of you that are here in the audience, and please, so feel free to approach us and to give us your feedback. It's very much needed, because what we are working on a book on this concept, I'm saying on this council because we don't have the title yet. It's about heritage, complexity, or adaptive system or something, but the title is not really clear. The problem is quite clear how to approach heritage in a new way, which doesn't mean that everything what has been done is different or needs to be changed. How can be approached in a comprehensive way that can start a scientific study of how heritage is experienced and, of course, can be used in contemporary society for a better future.
So thank you all for coming to the conference. I think we can happily declare this conference closed.